Avi Meyers, Northtown Neighborhood News Magazine. Check us out on the web at ntnm.org. Everything's on YouTube. Big on community policing and big on judicial season. And of course, I want to thank my entire technical crew, Sonny Hirsch. And it is a pleasure. You never know where you're gonna meet somebody. I saw a picture of one of my favorite all-time guests who did the most popular show we ever had when we spent the day in the Deep Tunnel, Terry O'Brien, on Facebook. And he was standing with somebody at a Piet O'Connor political thing, and I had no idea who this person was, by the way, or if they were just, in the crowd. So I just hit like, and the next thing I know, we started communicating, and she happens to be running for judge.
That's correct.
And which vacancy are you?
I'm running in the Dennis Burke vacancy.
Dennis Burke vacancy, and actually a slated candidate of the Democratic Party. Congratulations on that.
Thank you very much. And thank you for having me on your show.
First of all, thank you. And I should tell people your name is Maritza Martinez if they want to vote for you.
There you go. Maritza Martinez, yes.
Maritza.
Yes, like Ritz Cracker, I tell everybody always.
Oh, okay. So tell us a little something about yourself.
Well, I actually have been a trial attorney for 24 years. I am committed to public service. I actually worked for the city of Chicago for 13 years, where I used to prosecute cases and then defend municipal employees in civil rights cases. And then when I left the city of Chicago, I actually started volunteering at the Attorney Registration and Disciplinary Commission. And so I've served on a board for 9 years there. And I, in 2007, was appointed to a commissionership at the Illinois Court of Claims. So I hear cases right now that are brought against the state of Illinois. But in my practice, I've actually practiced on both sides of criminal, both sides of civil, in federal and state court.
Wow. So you've got quite a background, and you actually dipped into a little bit of the judicial thing with the commission.
I have, yes. I hear those cases now. I give advisory opinions, and then the judges take as much or as little of the opinions as they deem fit.
Yeah, the ARDC, by the way, is something I only found out about a couple days ago. Somebody else happened to mention it to me. It was a rabbi who actually had filed a complaint.
Oh, okay, right. Well, that may or may not appear in front of me. There are different panels, and so we'll look at the investigations that are brought, and we'll determine whether there's actually sufficient evidence to actually bring the charge against the attorney. And once we vote a complaint, it becomes public, and so people can see it on the ARDC website. It's iardc.org.
IARDC.
That's correct.
Okay, I got to check that out. I've never checked it. I've never looked at that. So, what made you decide you wanted to become a judge?
With my commitment to public service, I believe at this point in my career that that's the best service that I can give to the public. You want somebody who understands, I think, the law from different angles. And so that this way, if two persons appear in front of me, I can actually see their viewpoint. And I think that I have actually the ratings that are requisite in order to be a judge, and I have the support as well. And so I wouldn't undertake a countywide race without the Democratic Party's, blessing, so to speak.
Well, it definitely helps a lot. There's no question about it. I mean, for one thing, you don't have to worry about. So many people spend a lot of time with petitions. We were actually talking about that earlier, but it's good. It's good to be able to meet people too. Right,
it is. I actually go out with my campaign managers, and I actually try to meet the voters and try to do some of the petition gathering, amongst all the other candidates as well.
Oh, and I should mention you also have my favorite election attorney as your election lawyer.
Jim Nally is phenomenal, and Jim and I met when we were trying a case together in federal court years ago.
Yeah, Jim's a great guy, absolutely. So he's going to be here for our next taping.
Great.
So, I was listening to you before, talk to James Crowley, who was a guest on a different show. And, you travel the circuit. I mean, you were talking about, we're on the far north side, and you're talking about Bloom Township at the far south later tonight.
Right. It is, but it's good to go out and meet different people from different areas and to hear their concerns and to support the Democratic organization at different levels. And so, I was just in Evanston a few nights ago, and then I find myself in Thornton Township or Arlington Heights. And so you're right, it is a big county. But in my private practice, I wind up in Lake County, in DuPage County, and so at least I'm staying in the county.
That's a good way to look at it.
Exactly.
That's a good way to look at it. So how do you find it? I mean, are you always on the look for those things, or
I
do
am
you have a
always on the
network?
look. I am, and like you know, I am on Facebook, and believe it or not, social media actually helps us actually find different things. And I actually have a campaign consultant and a campaign manager who keep my schedules for me. So they'll actually let me know what's going on in addition to the things that I find. But I find that word of mouth is the best. And once you actually go to different organizations' meetings, they'll tell you themselves about what events they have that are coming up. And so I always keep a paper calendar and actually a calendar on my phone where everything, you know, will fit in.
Yeah, I was telling you before we were on the air, I always use the Book of Nelly, as we like to call it.
Right,
So,
exactly. I need to get myself one of those.
Yeah, I'll make sure I mention it to him when I talk to him later. But no, it's a pretty classy appointment book. But anyway, I happen to like it. So yeah, you know, I got to tell you, the whole social networking thing, it's unbelievable. You know, a lot of people just use it for silly stuff, but I mean, if you try to use it in a productive manner, whether it's to publicize the show, make friends, you know, reach out to people, get the word out, you know, find out intelligent opinions from other people as opposed to some of the, I mean, there's a lot of stuff there that's not so great, but
Right.
you know, you got to kind of pick and choose. But I just love reaching out to people that way. I really do.
I like it for pictures too, for my friends who are actually, I have some girlfriends that are in California, some in Wisconsin, and you feel like you miss out on a lot because you don't see them so much, and so the pictures help as well. That's what I like the most of it.
No, the pictures can be nice, although I will tell you that there was one girl who approached me, and picture looked great, and when we actually met, let's just say she was only about 25 or 30 years older than her picture.
Word to the wise.
Yeah, that happens, by the way. That happens on the dating sites too, but that's another story. Okay, Devorah, I'm not fidgeting. Anyway, who is your campaign manager?
Actually, I have a campaign consultant,
Yeah.
Mary Kay Dawson, and I have a campaign manager who's Ivan Gonzalez and Aaron Sofian. And Ivan and Aaron actually ran Justice Jesse Reyes's campaign last time.
Oh, great guy.
With Mary Kay, yes. And so
That's one of my favorite judges.
Oh, he's phenomenal. You know, when I was in law school 25 years ago, he would come to our class to speak to us, to encourage us to stay in school. I mean, that kind of dedication and commitment to public service you're not going to find. I mean, for decades, I have known him and known of his good works. And so I'm a huge fan and a huge supporter. And so I figured if I wanted his playbook, I would have to, you know, get on board with his coaches. And so
Yeah.
it's been very helpful. It's been very helpful.
No, that's great. I mean, that's you definitely pick people who know what they're doing, so
Right.
that definitely helps a lot. Do you have a website?
I do. I have a website. It's Maritza Martinez for Judge.com.
MaritzaMartinezForJudge.com. And of course, by the way, feel free to put the YouTube video when it
I
comes out.
will, definitely. Thank you.
Oh,
Thank
and
you
also,
very
you know,
much.
like, send me she was taking pictures earlier, her and James Crawley. So, you know, feel free to post them on my
Facebook.
timeline also. Yeah.
Okay, I will. Thank you.
No, I always love seeing things like that. So, how many events do you go to in a given night?
You know, on average, 3 to 4. On Saturdays and Sundays, I can find myself at 10 to 12 events.
Wow.
Right. And so there are days that I need a driver to take me around only because it takes me longer to park the car than it does for the little bit of time that I have to go. What makes it tricky is that a lot of events are from 5:30 to 7:30. And so just going from one event to another can take a lot of time. And so I've picked a few nights where it helps to have somebody come with me. But for the most part, you know, I navigate myself to and from, you know, places, or will carpool with other people. There are 10 people, by the way, that are slated for the circuit court judge positions. There are 10 vacancies, and then there are 3 actually appellate court vacancies. And so we should probably just get a van.
Well, that's not a bad idea, actually, carpool. At this point, Mickey's hands are saying that we're really out of time, but Maritza
Okay.
Martinez, I want to thank you so much for being here. It was a pleasure meeting you.
Thank you so much.
And
Great
wish
meeting
you
you
a
in
lot of luck in
person.
the election. My pleasure. And thanks for joining us, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.